want to thank you for checking out another podcast of We Ain't Scared Talk, where we ain't scared. My name is A1, and let me say Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you had a safe and fun New Year's. Hopefully you got some good celebration in, and you're ready for 2020. Okay, it is here right now. It's here. So, new decade, whatever you thought you wanted to do in 2019 or the last decade, make a commitment to yourself that in this decade, starting now, you will work towards that and you will not stop, no matter what. Go for it, okay? All right, so let me also say thank you to everyone that has purchased their We Ain't Scared Talk mugs. It's a new decade. You can start your new decade off with a brand new mug. They are strong. They are black. They are black and they are strong. So who doesn't want something strong and black and sexy in their life, right? All right, so get on over to social media. I can get you some information about it if you don't already have it. Okay, so today's topic, we got a lot to cover, and I'm already kind of getting the feeling that this is going to be a great start to this year. February marks 4 years since the We Ain't Scared Talk podcast started, so thank you to everyone that supports it again, and I'm looking forward to some even more exciting topics going into this 4-year anniversary. Now, this particular topic, let me just tell you what it is, and I'm going to be jumping around on this paper that I got here. But it is, why are black women scared to criticize Oprah Winfrey? Again, why are black women scared to criticize Oprah? Now, that's the topic, but let me say this first. Last January, it started off with the attack or the assault on R. Kelly. In January of 2019, if you will recall, the Surviving R. Kelly documentary dropped, and it was a bombshell, to say the least. And it's still reverberating, even to a year later. So this year, I want to start off the year with Surviving Oprah Winfrey. Okay, so we want bombshells. We're going to do it like this. Now, let me qualify this because I can already imagine, based on the topic, people are going to be listening for different things. Oh, he doesn't like black women. Oh, he's criticizing a successful black woman. First of all, let me say, my mama's black. Okay, my daughter's black. And I don't want you to turn this into black people can't criticize other black people because they're successful. And it's something about, and this is not on my notes, but I'm sure I'll probably revisit it, but there's something about the black community where we feel like we can't criticize certain parts or people or portions or aspects of it, especially when it comes to black women. And I know it's a delicate balancing act, and I know we've been through a lot, but we have to be able to have these very nuanced, difficult, layered conversations without it turning into, oh, he just hates black women. No, that's not the case. Every group has a responsibility inside of that group to push and to challenge each other inside of that group. And if you're not doing that, then you're doing the whole group a disservice. The same way that I can be challenged as a black man by black men and women, and the same way that I can be called out on things that I say that people don't like, it goes both ways. This is a two-way street. We're supposed to be helping each other get better, okay? So, again, as I said, my mama is a black woman. My daughter is a black woman. I was married at one point to a black woman, and I've worked around black women. So I know a little something about black women. And when I'm speaking, understand, I'm speaking from my personal experience. Okay? I'm not saying, well, all black women. No, I said my personal experience. So I don't want to hear anything about you trying to label and lump everybody. No. So here's some more qualifiers because I'm going to just sort of head all this BS off at the pass here. This is not the be all end all of the experience with black women. Okay, I'm not suggesting that what I'm saying is the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega to it all. No, black women are smart, they're intelligent, they are strong, they are the trendsetters of the world, without a doubt. Without a doubt, the world gets all of its style and swagger, fashion. Black women are at the forefront of it. Okay, everybody steals from black women. Period. Okay, again, fashion, makeup trends, style, everything. Their overall attitude, hairstyles, behavior, everything was stolen from a black woman. A quick sidebar. It's interesting. And I was out and I was at Starbucks, as a matter of fact, and there were a few gay men that were there, and I noticed their speech patterns, okay, and how they said certain things. And it was interesting how even in gay men, and this is where they're non-black men, gay non-black men, how they're the persona that they want to evoke or to project is that of a black female. Girl, now let me tell you, all of it was a black female. And there's something there. I can't get into it now. I won't, but I'm just telling you, black women influence everything. Okay, for better or for worse. So, let's go ahead and jump in. Now, this is not to say that that black women are flawed. I'm not saying that. Again, they are extremely intelligent, but we all can be held to a higher standard of accountability. And that's the key word. It's a higher standard of accountability. So nobody is above criticism. Again, this is targeted at OPRAH, and nobody is above observations about their behavior. Okay? Everybody can be criticized. It does not matter. OPRAH is a billionaire female or black female entertainer. And quite honestly, I applaud her success. Let me be clear. Where OPRAH came from to where she is today, it is a miracle. And I applaud her success. I feel like you can applaud somebody, you can celebrate somebody, but you can also point out some areas that, okay, you know what? There's a problem here. Okay, she made her fortune in TV, and she did it by being televised every afternoon directly into white, middle American, white women's homes. Okay, where she interviewed the top people of the day in society and media. Okay. Her show was groundbreaking because she was able to walk that fine line of being black, but not being black to white people. Kind of like Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson. They're black, but they're not black to white people. Or Beyonce. That's another great example. I saw a funny sketch where people were freaking out because they realized she was black. So they were screaming and losing their minds. Oh my God, what do you mean she's black? So it's an interesting side by side. So OPRAH has made it obvious by her affection of white men that she is team white people. Okay, now it's a known fact that she was sexually abused as a child by the men in her family. Now that's terrible. Let me qualify that. It should never have happened. It is terrible. No man, adult needs to be putting their hands in any way, shape, or form on a child. They are innocent and they don't deserve that. So let me qualify that. It is a crime and it is a tragedy. Okay, now, to turn the page, what tends to happen, that abuse, from my observation, we can agree to disagree, even though I know I'm right, okay? But that has led her to overtly not so, subtly, but overtly lash out at black men that have been accused of sexual improprieties and condemn and slander their names. Okay, there is a connect, especially when it comes to abuse, that the people who are abused in some way, shape, or form, they turn into the abuser. They become the very thing that they say that they hated and that they didn't like. All right, so the examples: R. Kelly, she came for R. Kelly. Bill Cosby, as of late, Russell Simmons. And then, of course, Michael Jackson. It was the leaving Neverland, and how she was involved in the producer of that. And it came out that the accusers, the white male accusers, their stories had too many holes in it, and HBO had to issue an apology and withdraw the actual show. Okay, so that tells you something there. Now, when it's a white man, again, Oprah is all over these sexual assaulters. Harvey Weinstein, okay? Of course, we know Jeffrey Epstein has been out there. She's kissed George Bush Jr. I mean, all these people that did not exhibit behavior that one was acceptable, okay? And in particular, because we're talking about sexual assault, Harvey Weinstein is the big one. She has not said a single thing. She is silent, okay? She's mysteriously missing in action. And her girlfriends, Gayle King and Ava DuVernay, look, birds of a feather, okay? They are equally quiet. The only time they express interest in black men is if we're getting out of prison, a la Central Park 5, which it was a great movie. I saw it, I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it at the same time, based on the premise. So they're all over black men if we're threatened with prison. Again, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, then she's very vocal, very visible, and tenacious, I might add. Black women, in my opinion, bear some of the blame for why Oprah has been acting with impunity when it comes to how she treats and views black men. Now, I said this on one of my social media posts, that it feels and seems like there's a schism in the black community. There's disjointedness, there's a break, there's this gray area off to the side, okay, between black men and black women that is driving a wedge of mistrust between us. And yes, I know, of course, it's rooted in slavery. And I say that, and people, I'm sure you're thinking, everything goes back to slavery. Well, it's true, okay? There was programming that was being conducted, and there was a way of thinking that was beat literally into black men and black women. So there's a lot of layers causing this disconnect. And here are a few. Number one, black women during slavery were mentally enslaved to train young black children to listen and do what the black woman says in order to save their lives from the hateful slave master. That was an intentional line of messaging. The white slave master pulled the black women to the side and threatened them. You don't get these black kids under control, then they're going to meet a horrible end to their life. We're going to lynch them, we're going to beat them. So that scared them. That is a fact. I mentioned the book, The Delectable Negro, and that was by Vincent Woodard, and it goes into great detail about that. So if you haven't picked up that book, please do, because all of this stuff strings together 400 years later. All right, let me continue. Black women were, as I stated, manipulated by the slave master to talk some sense into the strong black males, the bucks, to prevent or stop them from running away or resisting the abuse. Number three, white slavers raped, abused, but at the same time, and this is important here, okay, they elevated the black female as a way of convincing her that she had some semblance of power. It was false power and status, when in fact, she was a pawn. okay, in his game. He needed something, he'd get the black mammy. The black mammy on the plantation was like the vice president. Okay, you had the white slave master, and then you had the black mammy that actually heard everything that the white master wanted, and then she went out and told her subordinates, who went out and told their subordinates, and then so on and so forth. Something went wrong, get the black mammy in here. And I would not be honest if I didn't say Oprah is that black mammy. So white slavers, they did this, and it sent a message that still continues to this day. And honestly, I believe that black men and black women were taught and bred to hate each other. And again, that is still alive today. And here's some examples of that. Okay, you will routinely hear, okay, from some black women, my baby daddy's a deadbeat. My baby daddy doesn't take care of his kids. My baby daddy don't work. My baby daddy got 3 different baby mamas. My baby daddy don't pay no child support. My baby daddy don't do this. My baby daddy don't do that. There is always an angle of criticism that comes from some black women's mouths or perspectives that is so demeaning and it's so degrading, not realizing, or I'll say this, it giving the impression that all black men are the same, because they don't say, well, my baby daddy, but nobody else. See, when those statements are made, it is an unfortunate broad stroke of negativity that all black men fit into this mold or this category because they don't qualify it. And it's been so socially accepted, and nobody tries to stop them and correct them. This is a problem. And it's never the big things. I want to be clear. It's never the big, broad statements. It's the subtle things that are statements that are made that stick with people. So the list of grievances that, they're basically endless when some black women are making these statements. In white America, because they hate black people, some of them, I'll say, they listen and they agree and they use that information to further validate their own irrational prejudices against black men. Now, some might try to take that and twist that. Well, how come? Well, somebody could say that you're doing the same thing against Oprah. No, and I'm going to tell you, here's the difference. If Oprah had balance, I live a life of balance, for better or for worse. Okay, that is a very deep, seated, centered philosophy that I have. I can accept the good about myself, and I can also accept the bad, because there has to be balance. If you want to call me out on something, okay, you know what? I can't fight you on that. And if it makes sense, guess what? Okay, all right, that makes sense. I can live with that, but you can't have it. It can't be a one-way street. Okay, you will rarely, to continue, if ever, see a large contingency of high-profile black women say black men are the best. They take care of their children, and they're the hardest working men on the planet. Now, if you've seen this somewhere, you let me know. I mean, high-profile black women, okay? There is good and bad in every group, but it's interesting to me that black men get more abuse verbally from some black women than support. This is a fact. You may not like to hear it, but my job is to share uncomfortable truths, because the only way you're going to get through and work on issues and problems is you have to talk about it. You got to rip the Band-Aid off and you got to deal with it. If I had to deal with some really tough realities about myself in my life, okay, so no, trust me, I'm still doing that. The contradiction or blind spot in our relationship with each other, meaning black men and women, black women, and rightfully so, want black men to be more accountable to our families and to protect them from the hate of the world. But when the hate of the world is targeted at us by those same black women, who is going to speak out to protect us black men? Okay? Now, don't twist my words into something, again, about I don't like black women. I can hear that. This has nothing to do with that. But we have to stop walking on eggshells when it comes to this because, again, there's a blind spot in the black female relationship with each other. Because, again, those same black women are silent, which is curious when we really need their support. Some bombshell comes out. Russell Simmons abused or R. Kelly did this. I mean, they say they rush to judgment. Let's just say that without waiting for all the facts. And I'm not saying these guys are angels. Let me be clear. Nobody is perfect. But there's nobody perfect on the other side either. Let's be clear. There's nobody perfect on the other side either. But when you only come out with the bullhorn on the black side, then that's when I got a problem. Okay, so when R. Kelly, and again, Surviving R. Kelly was released last January in 2019, black women and men came out of the woodwork to condemn R. Kelly. And they pulled no punches and made no apologies. They drugged this strong black man through the mud. And they were trying to destroy his character. And remember, he has not been convicted of any crime whatsoever ever as of this podcast, January of 2020. They got him in jail, federal custody, but he still hasn't been charged. He hasn't been tried. I mean, he's been charged, but hasn't been tried and convicted. He is merely accused. Okay? He is accused. So he's innocent until proven guilty. So the conclusion is, black women, you can't have it both ways. You can't demand or get upset and say that black men need to protect black women, which is a fact, okay? But if you don't take a stand against black women like Oprah that is making money, okay, from tearing down strong, successful black men, and not only is she making money, but she's bringing up the next generation of women, meaning Gail, Ava DuVernay, to do the same. This only leads to resentment and further division. I'm not going to run from that. Now, I know why, there is silence from the black females. Now, this is speculation. Of course, I'm not a black female, so I don't know fully, but I can sort of surmise. And it's something that I said earlier. I call it the Beyonce effect. Number one, black females enjoy living vicariously through other successful black women. All right, it's like a lot of people. Number two, historically, black women have been limited in certain sectors and industries, and when they see a few make it to the top, they admire and clap and applaud and allow the same abuses that white men did to them to take place in terms of the abuse. But this time, it's the black women that are the abusers because they're silent when they should be vocal about how wrong the OPRAH double standard is. So, black women complaining they don't have equal access. Okay, they get equal access, meaning they're sitting at the table with these white men, and then they start acting like them. So here's a qualifier, another one, I should say. If a black man breaks the law, let me be clear, and is convicted of that crime, I have nothing to say except it is what it is. Now, I'll still support that black man because he is a black man. But fair is fair. I can't have it both ways. And I understand that. And I'm not trying to have it both ways. Now, that being said, black women have to exercise some better habits of protecting black men and not rushing to judgment about the guilt of that said black man. Black men are damned if we do and damned if we don't. And I know we both have our share of racial oppression that we have to contend with. And sometimes it can feel like we're both in this pissing contest about who's suffering more, which causes more problems and more difficult conversations. But just because black female entertainers make movies about black men overcoming prison and or wrongful convictions does not make them an ally. Okay, or protector of black men. Ava DuVernay, again, Central Park 5. Because I never one time heard Oprah, Gail, or Ava say anywhere in public that black life matters. Never heard it. If you have, and you have a clip of that, a video, send it to me. But yet, this is important, they profit off the pain of black male imprisonment under the auspices of wanting to shine a light on the injustice of the criminal justice system. That's what you always hear when they want to justify it all. Well, we're just shining a light, an important light, because these things are tragic. Let's keep it real, okay? There's a lot at stake when these movies are shot. If you shoot a documentary or a film, you want the respect of your peers, and that Golden Globe and that Oscar recognition, that leads to more money, okay? And I think the easiest target for a lot of black filmmakers is black pain. Those are the things that they don't want to talk about, but it's true. And my thing is, I don't necessarily mind it, just be honest about it. That's the thing for me. I mean, black people, we have done it all, we've seen it all, and we're not above being scrutinized. But when it starts to feel like, a lot of black women, female filmmakers are really, they're there, but it's usually because of some type of prison link of some sort. There's something there that has to be examined. So, have any of the aforementioned Oprah, Gayle, or Ava DuVernay joined or supported any prison reform programs? See, that's where I look. You did all this stuff about Central Park 5. You interviewed them, Oprah. You interviewed them as a follow-up, Ava. But what prison reform programs are you involved in? Have any of them reached out to Kim Kardashian to lend their support to her Innocence Project? Okay, Kim is single-handedly freeing damn near every black man that is in prison. But I don't see no black female filmmaker or producer clapping or applauding. They're criticizing her, and sometimes rightfully so. Does Kim want to be black? Of course I think Kim Kardashian wants to be black. I think every Kardashian wants to be black, but that's beside the point. Black women view Oprah as their own success story, but the problem is, again, this does not make Oprah a god or perfect. She's not. So if she ain't a god or perfect, why the silence? Okay, it's more of the brainwashing that she is the epitome of a strong, successful black woman. And she is strong and she is successful. Again, you cannot take anything away from her success. I won't do that. Okay, but at the expense of the image and the strength of the black man. It's like we can't both be up together. If one is up, then one is down. One is down. Why can't we be up together? There's a trade-off that black women as a group are willing to make. And that's obvious. To sacrifice the image or career of the black man as long as it bolsters their own career or keeps them in the good graces of white men and women. Well, that's unacceptable for me. Again, because as soon as black women feel disrespected, are under attack, by non-black or even black men, what do they usually say? Respect and protect the black woman. That is a known phrase. It is a known, it's on bumper stickers and shirts, okay? But again, you can't have it both ways because you also have to respect and protect the black man. It's a two-way street. So imagine for a moment if Kerry Washington, Viola Davis, Cicely Tyson, Regina King, Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith. Imagine if those successful black females spoke out against Oprah's one-sided crusade against black men while she's kissing Harvey Weinstein. Imagine. That's what we need. You want a red table talk, Jada? Do that. Talk about that. How come you're silent? And yes, I know life has many contradictions and odd twists and turns, but when there are zero high profile or lower profile black women to criticize Oprah and her obvious bias towards black men, then those same black women in their silence become, in my opinion, co-conspirators. We all can do better. We all can admit that. But if we all can do better, how come we all ain't? Okay? We all need to do something, but then Well, yes, but not that. It's not just one-sided because the other side is more well-liked. You can't have it. Well, we just love her and it doesn't matter. It does not matter. There's damage being done. Oprah doesn't get a pass from me, and she shouldn't get a pass from black women either. But that's an individual decision, okay? But again, if nobody is perfect, then why are you treating Oprah like she is? Because she's not. All right? Well, I'm sure you have your own thoughts, and that's great. Let's keep this conversation going. We need to have this discussion in order to change it. I realize that some people may not have even realized that they were thinking how they were thinking, and that's fine, okay? That's why I'm here. So, we all need to do better. So let's do better. So I want to thank you for checking out another podcast of We Ain't Scared Talk. My name is A1, and you got some good food for thought. Listen again. Tell a friend. We ain't scared.